Before I start this video, I just want to say right up front, I really appreciate what this guy did. He stood for freedom. He stood firm for freedom and wouldn't accept anything less than freedom. So I'm going to read this article, but I have a couple of observations and questions that I think we really need to ask along the way. Emerald Isle Beach opens after protester in Navy uniform stands in the ocean. On Thursday, a retired Navy Master Chief stood in the ocean for about 10 minutes before being approached by police. He was in protest of the Emerald Isle Beach closure. In front of him was a sign that read, "Land of the Free." I don't even think you can get any more powerful than this picture right here. You got a guy dressed in a military uniform in front of a sign that says "Land of the Free" in an atmosphere where they've taken away virtually all the freedoms in the name of protecting you from CV-19. It's brilliant. A few hours later, authorities announced that the beach would open up on Saturday complete with lifeguards, and it comes from the Business Insider. Land of the Free. Protester wears U.S. Navy uniform and refuses to leave the ocean amid beach closures. A man wearing a U.S. Navy uniform went to the ocean front in Emerald Island, North Carolina on Thursday in an apparent protest, apparent, you think, against the town's restrictions amid the sea virus pandemic. The man, who is identified by a witness as a retired U.S. Navy chief, was seen photographed standing in front of a sign that read "Land of the Free." Mike Connor, a longtime resident of Emerald Isle and surfer, told Insider the retired sailor stood in the waters for about 10 minutes before he was approached by law enforcement officers. Connor said the man was asked to remove himself from the area but refused the request. The sailor eventually left the water on his own accord without incident. Hours after the incident, the town announced it would lift the ban on access on Saturday. Surfers and other residents previously expressed their disapproval by staging protests throughout the area and were fired up about the closures. But guess what? Nothing was done when they protested. We're very happy that Emerald Isle allowed access not just to us swimmers, but to everybody that uses it as a medium for their exercise. We don't want our rights stomped all over. So let me ask a couple questions here. First of all, why did it take a guy in uniform for somebody to finally do something? Now, let me just reiterate, I really appreciate what this guy did. I appreciate him taking a stand for freedom and using freedom to rub it in the faces of every single oath breaker. This uniform guy right here, he's an oath breaker. He took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And what did him and his fellow Thin Blue Line officers do? They turn right around and become the very domestic enemies they promised to protect us all from. So let me ask a couple questions and make a couple observations. Why did a guy in uniform stop these guys from going out into the ocean, putting handcuffs on him, kidnapping him, throwing him in the back of the cruiser, and taking him to jail? You know, if this was just a surfer standing out there in shorts with his surfboard, they would have gone out in the water and got him. Do badges and uniforms really grant special rights? And let me ask you this. Where are all the other military guys that could have been standing with this guy? I'm talking about even since this. Okay, yeah, maybe this was a short incident and nobody ever heard about it until after it was over. But I'm saying, why hasn't this started a fire in the hearts of everybody who served in the military that cares about freedom? Why don't they put their uniforms on and march in the streets? Because this guy stood alone, surrounded by officers. You can see it in this video right here. Emerald Isle cops pulled up in their Jeeps, made a couple phone calls. Later on, a couple other cops showed up. They didn't know what to do. Let me just articulate what's going on here in case it's lost on any viewers. These cops are mentally short-circuiting at the sight of a military man in full uniform dress standing behind a sign that says "Land of the Free" on a beach that they, the oath-breaking cops, closed against the Constitution, while they also know, these cops, that they're playing the hypocrite, because what they always say is, hey, honor your servicemen. They fought, they bled, some of them died for our freedoms, and we have got to safeguard freedoms. Now they're encountering the very specter of their military-industrial complex propaganda. They say they believe land of the free, home of the brave, but they're in a catch-22 position right here mentally because they can't figure out what to do with this military guy who's rubbing their faces in the fact that they haven't honored their oath. And I got to applaud this guy because he did it without words. He didn't have to say one word. And all he had was a sign with 4 words: land of the free. It reminds me of another 4 words somewhere in, I think it's in the Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed. Your rights should not be violated. And in the 4th Amendment, shall not be violated. Rights shall not be violated for any reason. So let me ask again. Do badges and uniforms grant special rights? Where are all the other military men who could be standing with him in the ocean on the shores of every single ocean-facing state? How about the military men put on their full dress uniforms if you really care about freedom and march in the streets in your uniform and open things up? If cops are only going to listen to people in uniform, which is pitiful, because they should listen to every American who loves freedom. This shouldn't take a guy in the uniform to slap people upside the head and go, "What are you doing? Why are you abridging all rights?" Because mainstream media and government functionaries say that we might catch CV-19. And that's only a very, very small percentage of any population. You don't take away rights for anything, guys. And it shouldn't take a guy in a uniform standing in an ocean with a sign, land of the free, to get our rights back. I applaud what this guy did, but cops should respect rights, not uniforms. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below, and I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.